This week from the woodshop, a tabletop recording booth.
One of the biggest challenges I've had in launching this little YouTube channel has been the overarching sound quality included in the video. So when I'm back in the woodshop and I'm using power tools, the sound is bouncing off of concrete walls and it's not going to be that great. It is what it is. But when I'm doing voiceover work and narration about the video, the microphones that I've been using haven't been that great. And I've been recording them just inside my multi-purpose office space here. So we need a solution that's going to help improve our audio quality, and we're going to do it for about $30. So stay tuned for this particular challenge, and we'll put a solution together.
And while I love these DIY projects using fiberglass panels and even mattresses to the right, I just don't have the room in my shared office space here to build a booth like that. So we went to the home center, we picked the cart with the shaky wheel, and I'm gonna pick up some 1/2-inch OSB and also a single 2x6 that I'm gonna cut up into strips. And then also this premium moving blanket. Now, because I have the table saw, I'm gonna cut up my own pieces into strips here, but if you don't have those tools, you could just pick up 1x2 or 1x3 lumber from the store and build your frame that way. But I'm going to build these slats with bevels, and the length will be 24 inches, and I'm going to need 6 of these. My overall length for this booth is going to be 30 inches wide, 30 inches deep, and 24 inches tall. And so while I'll cut 2 pieces of this OSB board at 30 inches in length and 24 inches wide, we'll start to put the slat frame together. And so just making sure it's square, I'm going to space these out every 6 inches. And this will be the front part of the frame. Now with another rectangular frame made also at 24 by 30 inches, I'm going to attach this flat piece of OSB, and then I'm going to separate these 2 layers so that I can use the moving blanket fabric in a V groove in between those slats. And I don't know what made me think of painting the back of this. I had some leftover Kona brown paint, which surprisingly goes on purple, but dries brown. Go figure. So this will be the bottom of the booth, or the base of the booth, and then you're seeing the back wall that was painted brown. And here I'm just attaching the slat frame with a 6-inch separation between the frame and the back wall. And that'll give me enough room to fold my fabric in between those slats. I'm also going to add a little extra pine to support a cross member that'll build some support into this overall frame. Now the 2 top pieces that are going to box in this booth are 18 inches long. And I'm going to do a little extra trimming on those pieces rather than have the square edges kind of poke out. And I'm a little bit of a nutcase. But we'll get these things attached. It'll provide the entire booth some rigidity. And then we can actually start to put the fabric on this frame. Now, because my height was only 24 inches, we're going to cut a long 24-inch piece of this fabric. And just using a staple gun, we'll get it started here on the left side and then poke it down into the shape of a V in each one of these gaps between the slats. And I tried to keep the fabric relatively firm and taut, but not too much. I want it to form the shape of a V, but I'm not looking for the sound to bounce off the fabric. And I just noticed after I filmed everything that I had this speck of sawdust on my lens, and it drives me nuts, and now there's nothing I can do about it. And so with the fabric in between the back slats, it's now cutting the rest of this single blanket into pieces to wrap it all up. And here's the reveal. It actually came out pretty nice. Now, it's a rough and rugged frame. It's not going to be ever interpreted as a piece of furniture, but the fabric out of that single blanket wound up covering all of the sides. And depending on the type of microphone that you use, whether it's a tabletop freestanding or a lavalier mic, there's a couple different ways that you can set that up inside this booth. But it sits very neatly on top of a stool right next to my desk. It's portable. I can move it out of the way when I'm not using it. And now we're actually going to do some testing. So I used 4 different microphones over the last 2 years. The first one was that Apple set of earbuds with attached microphone, which was pretty good. I had this outdoor microphone that attached to my camera. I had a lavalier microphone that I'm actually using to record this narrative. And then I paid extra money for this Shure tabletop microphone, but this lavalier mic actually performs better.
So the real test is going to be if you can tell the difference from the stereo microphones inside the camera and a little bit of the echo chamber that is my basement workroom. Compared to the rest of the video, as I was recording narration, I did it inside the recording booth on this lavalier mic. And you can definitely hear that the quality is better. But let's go try out a couple of other rooms and see how they sound. Well, testing out another scenario, this is using the same lavalier microphone, but inside the glamour of the upstairs bathroom. So you can definitely hear the echo in here. Hopefully it comes across in this microphone. But again, this is just comparison in terms of environment compared to that tabletop sound booth. So based on what I've read, audio recording inside of a clothing closet is not supposed to yield the best of results. From what I've read again, and the analysis says too many of the frequencies get absorbed by the clothing and the sound comes across a little bit more muddy. But again, using the same microphone and speaking with the same volume in my voice will let you do the comparison. And so to wrap up, I am really pleased at the sound quality that I'm getting out of this booth with my lavalier microphone. I think any microphone that you use is going to sound better in this booth.
It's not a game, it's a rage thing.